Everyone, welcome to the last video in this page, on this page, from the Autumn Colouring Heaven magazine. These are Harvest Delights by Alexandra Dannenmann. We're doing this last little one here with our Castle Arts Gold pencils. Now these pumpkins, we could very easily do them in an orange like we did the ones, oh that's a bit too close, hold on. There we go, like we did for the ones on the very first picture, but I thought we would do them a little bit differently. Now I know there are some pumpkins that are more stripy, and I thought maybe that's what I could do with these. So let's have a little look at our colours. I was thinking we could do an orange and green stripy one, maybe. And then maybe a green and light green or something like that. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to do this one in orange and green. So I am just looking, I'm going to grab the sap green and I'm going to do the green stripes. Now I'm thinking I want my green stripes, the thinner ones. It's a little bit tricky to see. I think there's not really, and I'm going to just start here with this one. We don't get lots of different types of pumpkins in England really. Get the little baby ones and they all look a bit different to each other, but for the big carving ones they're always orange. That's just the way it is. So I'm just doing every other once and just making it stripy. I'm trying to maybe make it a little bit darker at the bottom and top, because this bit might catch the light more than the rest of the pumpkin. Now I don't know whether in America, where you do your Halloween thing much more than us, or any other country where you do Halloween more, whether you carve your pumpkins and then you eat them, or whether you have separate carving and eating pumpkins. We seem to have separate eating and carving pumpkins. It seems a bit of a waste really, but then there's so much hollow in the center that, you know, maybe you can't, maybe it's just unrealistic to try and eat it. I don't really know. Now we want our orangey colour. They're so bright, these colours. I think I'm going to use the marigold. It's not quite as dark, deep and vibrant. We'll see how it looks. But yeah, we don't buy them. Kids have carved pumpkins. They have done it, and they hated putting their hand in to get all the seeds and stuff out. They really dislike that. So I had to do it. Thanks. But yeah, we were out somewhere and they had like kids activities, you know, it's a Halloweeny thing, and so they had a go. Carving was quite difficult as well because they didn't have particularly sharp tools because it was for kids, you know. So, ooh. But we managed to make a poor effort. And at least they've done it. They didn't want to do it again, it's too sticky, but at least they've had a go. Sometimes you think you have to give your kids these experiences so they know you've at least tried. They probably won't even remember that they did it, but hey ho. Now I'm going to use some yellow on top just to make it more vibrant. But I think, do I want a lemon yellow so it's really bright? I think I do. I'm going to try it anyway, the lemon yellow. It'll help to burnish it a little bit, but it will just make it all, it'll give it all some coherence, I'm hoping. Just make it a little bit brighter. It's turning that green into a much nicer colour, I think. Personally, I like this colour. Whether this is a realistic colour for a pumpkin, I have no idea. But there we go. It feels the wrong time to be doing pumpkins though. That's really for October, isn't it? But never mind. There. So there is our first one. But there are sort of dips in and out of it. I think it's trying to indicate, I'll show you. I need something to put some shadow in. I'm going to use the Van Dyck Brown, if I can find it. There we go. Van Dyck Brown, and then just sharpen it a little bit. Oh, So where we've got these stripes, every so often, like here, that's a much thicker, darker line than this one, this one, this one. So I think this is where it's supposed to be slightly dented in. So I'm just going to emphasize that shadow with this brown. You don't have to do this if you don't feel it's necessary. But it's just because it's drawn that way. I just thought I would add it in. But I don't, because of the different colours, they distract the eye so much. I'm not sure whether it shows up that much. I probably won't bother to do it on the next one, to be honest. Just looks like I've got a brown stripe in there. It hasn't really worked. Okay, his little top. I'm tempted to do it in the sap green, actually, the same colour, but I won't. That's a bit boring, isn't it? Let's go for something else. Yeah, let's go for the leaf green deep. It's quite a good all-round colour. Also, just notice I've missed a bit there, which I'm going to put in a minute. There we go. It's a bit of marigold. Yeah. There we go. Right, now we're going to do this one. And this one I'm going to do in 2 shades of green. So I want a sort of lighter shade and a darker shade. Now our leaf green lighters are lighter shade, but for me that's a little bit too light. So I think I'm going to have to go with the cadmium green pale as my lighter shade. Here it is, cadmium green pale. And then something else for the darker shade. This isn't light, but it'll do. Oops, out of the lines. Never mind, this other stripe's going to be darker, so they'll cover that up, I'm sure. So we'll just go round in one direction and then round in the other direction. Stop us getting dizzy. Little tiny bit there. And this side, got a snail. Snails eat pumpkins. Does anything eat pumpkins apart from people? How could you get through that thick skin? Animals, I can't imagine would be able to break through there. So that was a cadmium green pale. Now I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go for the oxide of chrome. It's quite a lot darker, but still a slightly more olivey tone. Hopefully that will work. There we go. Sounded like my stomach grumbling. I haven't long had lunch. Had some toast with olive oil, and then we had some sugar snap peas, cucumber and carrots with it. Should have been plenty. To drink, had a coffee, decaf coffee my husband made me. It's nice. He still hasn't gone out. He's supposed to be going out. I bet he's gone to sleep. He forgot his pills this morning. He said he had to take his one, which you can take as soon as you remember, or double dose, which is really unlike pills, but yeah. But his other pill he can't take now. It's too late in the day, he'll have to wait. So unfortunately, it makes him tired. Now I could go over that with another colour like I did with this one, but I actually quite like that. As it is, I'm going to leave it. Now our stemmy bit, I'm going to use the same colour I did for the other one, which was the leaf green deep. Like that. And the leaf itself. Oh, I'm going to try a little experiment with some pens. I'm going to make it darker at the base, and then I'm going to go over this bit with our cadmium green pale. I think that's the reason I like this pumpkin so much, is because it's got my favourite colour in it. There we go. Now, should we move along? We'll do little snail. Now, for a snail's body, I usually use a browny grey. The blue grey, which we actually used last time, is probably the best option, because although it's called blue grey, it's actually very brown. It's an odd name. There is a bluey grey. The dove grey is a bit more bluey, I would say. Anyway, we'll do our snail. Now, the shell is always a tricky decision, because of course there are so many colours it could be. Usually quite light brown, but I might go for the green gold. Let's try it. Green gold. So I'm going to go all over to start with in a lightish layer, because we need to put some darker bits in there like that, and also around this edge, and it emphasizes the shape of the shell, that it's more 3D. There we go. Well, that looks pretty cool. I think I like that colour. Now we have another sunflower decision. I have made a decision already though. Now I've noticed that some of the sunflowers seem to have red lines in them. Oh dear, excuse me, yawning again. So I'm just going to pick, look at the right swatch chart. I'm going to use the redwood and do some bits. You'll see. There it is. Redwood. So I'm going to start actually, I'm trying to remember if it starts there or there. Is it on the tip? No. So I'm going to put a dark bit here like that, and then I'm just going to go like that. So it's going to sort of streak into the yellow like that. And that's how I think it looks. I might be wrong, but I'm sure I've seen some that look a bit like that. Give us a different look anyway. It's just a different sort of technique. Ooh, going out the lines though. This is a different technique. Probably not one that you'd want to copy. Oh dear. I saw a man when I was out today with the cutest little baby, and he started sniffing and going, "Oh, I've had a terrible cold," and the baby's had it, and I thought, "Oh, stay away." Oh, he was. I'm going to use the Naples yellow to finish off those petals. But the baby was really cute. Kept eating its own little hand and making little chattery noises. Very sweet. But it didn't make me broody. I've never got broody when I've seen a baby. I know some people do, they love babies. I don't really. You know, they're cute to look at if they're not crying, but I'd rather have a grown-up child anytime, like mine. Can chat to them, have interesting debates, learn things from them. I learn so much from my children. For the centre, I'm going to use the brilliant yellow. It's a bit different now. So I'm going to make this bit really bright. I think it's a bit of an imaginary flower, this. It's really bright there, and then this one a bit lighter, because I'm going to put another colour on top. I'm going to want it to go a little bit browny. So I'm just turning to my browns. What's that brown ochre? It's a bit dark. I'll try a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of brown ochre. Just sharpen it first. No, I remember people used to, "Oh, do you want to hold my baby?" And I'd just think, no. But you have to go, yes, but no. But I like them when you can, I mean, once they start responding more, which this little one was, but, you know, it gets a bit better. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to go slightly lighter. I think the terracotta light. But it's lucky because, you know, they don't stay babies for long. So, you know, if you like babies, then I guess those are the types of people who keep having children, maybe. I'm going to use the hooker's green for the stem, but not completely, so a little bit of hooker's green. Hooker's green. My cousin always said she'd just like babies. She only had 2 though. But yeah, her kids are lovely. They had to grow up quite quickly, mature at a young age, for various reasons, but they've grown up to be lovely children. Leaf green light. She would have been really proud of them and what they're doing, I'm sure. But leaf green light. I haven't seen them for a long time. But it's quite difficult, I find, to meet up with family. As my dad always says, no one gets married anymore, so you don't see anyone. Although it's particularly part of the family I'm talking about, someone did get married, but my parents didn't go because it was quite far away. My mum didn't want to travel that far and have to stay over and things like that. I think she would have really enjoyed it. I'm going to keep this leaf green light that's in my hand and do this bit of grass. But anyway, she wasn't up for it. So that was that. I wasn't invited. I mean, it was a small, as far as I could tell, it was quite a small thing. And husband wouldn't have been up for that sort of thing anyway. I couldn't have got there on my own, I don't think. It's a bit difficult to get to. I'm going to use a darker one for this edge here. The permanent green I think will work quite well. Excuse me, but anyway, I haven't seen any photos. I've seen some photos of the guests, but the bride and groom, I haven't published any photos yet of them. I'd like to see what they look like. But anyway, well, they'll do it when they're ready. I'm going back to my leaf green light because it's looking a little bit pale. Yours might not need a second colour. Is when I put that darker green on, it just made it look, you know, emphasised how pale it was. There we go, that's better. Now, what have we got left to do? I could put a bit of shadow in between these two, but I don't think I'm going to, because when I try to do that brown on this one, it just looked a bit nasty, so I'm not going to try that. I am going to do some dots inside this one. I've got a yellow here in these warm yellows. Is that a sort of orangey colour? But I think I'm more inclined to go for one of these darker browns. I don't know if it'll really, darker yellows. I don't know if it'll really show up. But I'm just going to put some dots in there anyway. There we go. Now, on the grass where I've got the dots, I'm tempted to add in a few more dots. I've got my green pens. I'm just playing around with these pens really to see what I can do with them, what works, what doesn't work, you know. I want quite a dark green, but there's a spruce green that's too bluey. Those are too bluey as well. The field green in the green style, that one. Is that the one? Yeah, this green. Now these are my Languo pens. Now I have made a swatch chart for them and the names of them. I found the names are on the packet but in Chinese, so I used my Google Lens to translate, and so I've got the names. That's how I know the names of them. And I did use them for a swatch chart, which is available free on my Ko-fi. I don't know if I've got all the sets. I think there's a few that I don't have. We've got a lovely range. I don't think you really necessarily need all of them anyway. And yeah, as I say, I'm just playing around with them at the moment. But there is our final one done. Should we have a look at the full page? Just going to take my piece of paper out from behind so it looks a little bit better. Now, of course, you all know which one my favourite is. The one with the berries. But I have enjoyed colouring all of those. I thought I would from the style they were drawn in. And I was right. I've really enjoyed the simplicity of those. They've been a lot of fun. So I hope you've enjoyed the videos as well. Maybe you've coloured along. I know some of you bought this book. Maybe you coloured some other autumnal type picture with similar colours. I'm not sure. Let me know. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.